Texas winter storm shutters green energy, new Green Deal, leaving millions without power. Fox Business. This is like getting your business advice from somebody who's trying to sell you gold bars or silver or copper because they make a living off of the money they make, their little fee for it. February 16th, 2021 is when this was posted. Texas winter storm affected the turbines. Meanwhile, in Canada and on the Antarctic, wind turbines are still spinning. But it's all the Green New Deal. But these are turbines that were put in before the Green New Deal. Because lying. The 5 slams new green energy plans as wind turbines fail in Texas, which, as a matter of fact, a couple of whistleblowers have stated no, they didn't fail. They were ordered to turn them off. Iowa windmills are working at 20 below zero. What the hell is wrong with you? So I type in, mild shock. Fox lied again? No. No one, and I mean literally no one on YouTube is buying this bullshit. If you looked up the Fox News statement that the green energy wind turbines are responsible when they're 10% or less of the energy usage, or supply. This is a state that prides itself on fossil fuels and being run by oil companies. Okay, the whole state's run by oil companies. And when their system and infrastructure hasn't been updated after this happened twice before, where the entire state was thrown into a tizzy over this. This is like Portland, Oregon refusing to snowplow roads. Well, no, they can't snowplow roads because in Portland, Oregon, the snowplows can't do it. The side streets are not wide enough with the cars in them for them to reliably snowplow and not push the snow on top of people's cars. They, at one time, did this by demand. Everyone in the neighborhood had to contact them and say, we want you to plow our road, we don't care if you cover our cars. And we've actually taken a vote. You absolutely have to do that to get them to do it, because you can't sue them for plowing the road the way you asked, because it will throw snow everywhere. If you can't move your cars to one side so you can plow just one side, the other alternative, and this was done during one emergency once, is the snowplows will go through after you approve them cutting down all the new shrubbery, and they make a new road next to the other. Then you move your cars out of the way because you can move it over there, then they snowplow that out of the way. It's called scoop and shove versus throwing the snow over. Scoop and shove is not able to be done if you have a thick enough snow layer. That's the way it is. And in Texas, oh, that's right, a neighboring state was able to clear the highway but did not clear the other half belonging to Texas. If you tell everybody to go to hell, we don't want your tax dollars, we're all about lowering taxes, which means they don't wish to benefit from them. And then they're demanding a bailout, of course. Texas wind turbines frozen, contributing to rolling blackouts. Next one. I wonder who that guy with the glasses are talking about. It's definitely not the customer or consumer. Think Texas was warned to winterize their electrical grid multiple times because the electrical grid broke. I think Anova should just take responsibility for the whole mess. I guess the governor is off the hook here. Ha ha ha. This is why people need to get out of the grid. Well, no. The snowplow trucks are the Thunderbirds, Blue Angels of the snowplowing. Perfect information. Okay. Engineers should have a final say, not politicians and economists. Start electing contractors and engineers and economists. Okay. Wind turbines work fine up here in Canada. Y'all must have some really shitty equipment. Or, I tried looking up every video where Fox News literally spin doctors the idea that a winter storm in oil country has anything to do with the green energy bill. Now, this is something I have to explain for the umpteenth fucking time. Fox News, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't, under any conditions, have a requirement that they tell the truth. There are no consequences for it. Many, many times over, bipartisan or not bipartisan, sometimes it was Democrats or Republicans, but the last time the FCC was told to shut up and not regulate idiots like this, that was Republicans. This was a long time ago. But the point is, they're not legally compelled to retract a false statement. And also, their own politicians over the last few days have trotted out this horseshit to the boomer set. But when they go ahead and talk at a conference, a news conference where they're going to actually get hard questions from real reporters, the first thing out of their mouth was, "Why did you lie on Fox?" And the next thing is, "Are you going to tell us the truth?" And then they tell you the truth. And then they say, "Well, our own evaluation board that's supposed to regulate these things didn't do his job." You told them to do this. This is all public record. This is all visible. Infrastructure for a state should be based on worst case scenario. Best case scenario for the majority of it, and then retrofitting afterwards for worst case scenario is only what you do after you've had an incident. This is now the third time this has happened in Texas in recent memory that has caused this shit. Like Portland, Oregon, it has basic crap go wrong. Right now, Portland is hammered because they got hit with the same thing that hit X number of years ago. It's not every 50 years, and that made it to where I was not able to function. And I'm not the most adaptable person in the city of Portland, Oregon. I had to give up and beg for help because I could not find a way to trudge through the snow not because of the snow, just like COVID-19, it's because everything was shut down. If it's shut down Portland, Oregon for more than 2 days, a certain variety of people that rely on this so that they don't have to pack a lot of weight for food, fuel, water, it all comes down to food and water. The weight of the water is what takes it. Well, the pipes had frozen. Or I couldn't open the taps, or there weren't any taps available. I was able to find 2 taps. I took around a little tool with me to open them if I had to, but I didn't have to. They left them open, put a sign up, "If you need this, leave it dripping so it doesn't freeze shut." Cool. So everybody did. They put a bucket under it. We used the water from that too if we had to. But it was impossible to live. And now Texas is dealing with this. They're not only boiling water, sometimes they can't get water. Their entire infrastructure, the water, the gas lines, which are the ones that damaged, and electrical cables were not designed to be able to handle this. Now, I grew up in Eastern Oregon. The temperature changes go from 110 degrees Fahrenheit down to 20 or 40 below zero in wintertime. And everything had to be hardened that way. Everything in Oregon has to be hardened in that way because you can get that. The only thing you don't have to protect against is permafrost because it doesn't happen. At least not often. But you still get busted pipes. And the thing is that once you find out this can happen, design against it. It takes a decade or so if you stretch it out. "Oh, that's $1 billion. No. It's $1 billion over 10 years. Shut the hell up and do it. And everybody who screams no new taxes is the kind of people who bitch loudest about this. So everybody who votes no new taxes, you don't help them. You let them swelter. And yeah, okay, we'll say it, Ted Cruz and probably other people left the state to go hide from the disaster because they're rich and can get away with it. Just like, oh, anybody can survive COVID-19. Yeah, if you're president of the United States or somebody else that the entire society cares about at the time, then you can go off to get top-notch medical treatment and maybe you'll survive better than the average Joe does. Obviously, the haves versus have-nots being amplified by that happening didn't help. This idiot leaving the town. Oh, it was a scheduled activity and blah, blah, blah. No, he evacuated. He ran off. Just don't even bother. If he had went to an equally cold area that just had the same level of snow and everything, but at least they had water, sewer, and electric hookups going, that'd be different. But he specifically went to someplace warm and pleasant, Cancun. None of this is something you can live down if you're a politician. Now, I haven't made a comment on this because I haven't thought of a reason to. There's no reason for me to talk about this, except for the following. The most useful part of the video will be indicated. Go to the 8-minute and 40-second mark. If you're in an area that has politicians that refuse to strengthen your infrastructure by yelling, "It'll cost taxes," that's the immediate sign you're being lied to. That's like the government saying, "I'm here to help you." A lot of people become suspicious. If you run into a politician that massages your desire not to be taxed further to make it impossible for you to go without food, water, clothing, shelter, medical coverage, yeah, I said it. If they try to make sure that any of the necessities for you not to die or your relatives or friends or your children, you should immediately assume they're lying through their fucking teeth. And if you're in an oil country, if you're in a state that's essentially run by oil corporations, because they just simply bribe everybody, you should assume that they're going to immediately shift the blame. The oil industry failed Texas. The politicians are covering for it in public. And when it comes down to where they might actually be held accountable, they won't lie as much. Fox is a propaganda source, and that is all it's useful for. They are not doing any hard-hitting news by finding out what really happened and fixing it. What really happened that they didn't fix last time is the same thing that happened the previous 2 times. The infrastructure in Texas is under-designed. because, well, you got to find out if you live there. I can't evaluate it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.